Hey, everybody, welcome back to Sons of Cinema. My name is Ron, and tonight I have with me Michael Entity, and we're going to start a new show called He Made Me Watch. And tonight's two movies that we chose, I guess I should preface this by saying first that me and Michael are always going back and forth with movies that we've never seen before.
All the time.
And and then we always end up calling each other and saying like, dude, this movie was fucking this and that was awesome, and dude, I can't believe I didn't see this movie before. So we thought, well, let's put some of these conversations and record them and see if anyone gives a shit. But so tonight's two movies we're gonna do are Stitches and Killjoy. Now I recommended to Michael Killjoy, and so Michael, do you want to give the premise of Killjoy and give me some of your thoughts, how you felt, whether you liked it or not, and give me some of the reasons to support your answer?
Yeah, so the basic plot of Killjoy is we follow this nerdy kid in the beginning of the film who has a crush on some girl, but her boyfriend is like this dislikable gang member. And basically, he's tired of being bullied, so he does some ritual thing to summon a killer clown known as Killjoy. But during that time, he is accidentally killed by one of the gang members, and a year later, Killjoy decides to help Michael get revenge on these gang members, and that's pretty much the plot. There's nothing more that really leads into it. It's a very odd movie, but obviously, I guarantee when the director made this, which apparently there's like what, five or six of them, is that right?
Yeah, there's six of them, and it's funny. I started watching Killjoy again just to refresh myself, and it wasn't the movie I remembered it being, but I did like it. I forgot how insanely low budget it is, and
Oh,
I
very.
started, yeah, and then I started watching. I watched Killjoy 2, got through that. This was all last night too, and then I started watching Killjoy 3. I'm almost done with that. I'll give you an opinion on those later, but so far I'm actually digging Killjoy 3. This is the Killjoy that I remember, who basically becomes the immortal whatever, you know. But so, and I watched this on Tubi. I don't know how you watched it, and I watched it through the Full Moon Fright Night, that's
Okay.
William Shatner's. So I don't know if you've ever seen this, but it made the movie even better for me because you've got Bill Shatner in the middle of these things. It's basically a show like Joe Bob, like the Last Drive-In.
Oh
It's,
yeah.
it cuts to, Bill Shatner doing some, dude, if you ever watch this movie again, just watch this cut with the Bill Shatner Full Moon Fright Night, because he does some things you would never ever expect him to do. And I'm talking like he's trying to imitate urban black culture, and dude, it is so fucking ridiculously bad, but it was hilarious. So what were some of the things that you liked about Killjoy or didn't like?
I mean, I really got to get this out of the way. I really do like Killjoy, like the clown itself. I think the makeup. I don't know if is he played by the same actor in every movie? Is it always different?
No, so the dude who plays Killjoy in the first movie is named Alex Varga, and he he doesn't have much on his IMDb page. I kind of looked. He's got a couple things, but for some reason, I don't know if it was because they chose not to, or if he chose not to, but I guess he didn't come back. And there's this other guy that plays him now, and his name is Hog. Wait,
I'm looking it up right now. Alex. Oh, sorry, not Alex. Angel Vargas.
oh, Angel, yeah, Angel Vargas, and then the other guy was. It starts. His last name starts with like a HAA. Hold on, let me look that up.
Okay. I mean,
Anyway,
while you're doing that, yeah, I mean, I really do like the like the design of Killjoy. It's ridiculous, especially with the hair. I mean, the hair looks like I don't even know what to compare his hair to. But I really like, the makeup design. I think whoever did the makeup design for Killjoy did a really good job. I think he's hilarious in all the right ways. I mean, I love all of his like because some of his one-liners honestly just don't even really make any sense. But the fact that he's always so happy whenever he says something kind of just
Yeah.
makes you go along with it. You're just like, okay, that was stupid. Like that wasn't even a good one-liner, but Killjoy seems to think it was great. So I guess it's one of those things where it's like, okay, well, I guess I can kind of appreciate in that way. But I think Killjoy is hilarious. I think he is funny as hell. Um, I do think, of course, like the acting is like porn level acting. Now, I didn't really do much research on the movie. I just watched the film. I didn't really do too much. So I don't know if they were actually intending on making a bad movie, but if they weren't, that's probably what makes this movie even more funny because it's one of those things. The best way I can describe it is I remember when I was a kid, there was a video that popped up on YouTube and it was like a live action Family Guy skit. And I remember thinking how awful it was until many years later when I discovered the dark parts of the internet. I realized, oh, so those clips were actually from a Family Guy porn film. They just took out all the porn scenes. So that's why the acting is so bad. That's what Killjoy feels like, except there are some explicit parts of this movie, especially the ending where they feel the guy comforts his girlfriend after having a bad dream, decides
Yeah.
to eat her out, and then Killjoy comes and is like, "That was some good pussy." I mean, what a way to end the movie! I'll just tell you that. But the acting is horrendous. It's awful.
There are a few like unnecessarily long sex scenes in this movie.
Oh yeah, dude. It's almost like watching. It's almost like if anybody watching this video remember, of course, knows The Room, aka the best worst movie ever made. Tommy was so like decided to just focus on so many sex scenes in that movie that would go on way too long. This is basically The Room, but if it was a horror film and it was made by black filmmakers. That's basically what it
Yeah.
comes down to, and it's hilarious. I mean, I think this is I gotta make this clear. This is a funny fucking movie, but I guarantee they made this movie knowing exactly what it was going to be. I highly doubt they went into this thinking it was going to be a serious film because if that's the case, then hopefully these actors did not quit their day jobs.
But the comedy, whoever wrote the jokes in this, it wasn't that funny. Like they just the way they would relay the lines and say them somehow made the line funny, but they weren't saying anything that was, out
No,
of the
like
ordinary. This movie came out, for those who haven't seen it, it came out in 2000, so it's an old ass movie. A couple things a couple of thoughts I had. It reminded me at times of A Nightmare on Elm Street, um, because Killjoy is basically, he brings people into his world, and then he can basically do anything. And
right.
I don't know. Did you see the similarities to A
I
Nightmare?
could I could kind of see it. It's almost like his warehouse is almost kind of like Freddy's boiler room kind of thing. So
Yeah.
and he definitely likes to mess around with them a lot, which is what
Mhm.
Freddy also would do. He would always kind of play with the teenagers eventually before he would, kill them. So
Yeah.
I definitely do see, a little bit of the similarities in there.
The Going back to the comedy, it did also remind me, and this is way before your time, but it reminded me of Homie the Clown from In Living Color. If you've ever seen
I
Damon
did
Wayans.
I did watch In Living Color a couple times with my dad. I don't
Yeah.
remember Homie the Clown. The only one I remember Damian Wayans from In Living Color was Handyman.
Oh yeah, well,
L-
Handyman, and then all of Jim Carrey's characters like
Yeah,
Fire
Jim.
Marshal
Yeah,
Bill and shit.
Fire Marshal Bill or Head Detective.
Yeah, but Homie the Clown was basically Damon Wayans' biggest character on that show that was reoccurring.
Okay,
And like, because Jamie Foxx had like Shanae and
I remember Sinead was
yeah.
great.
But that was his reoccurring character, and that's what Killjoy kind of reminded me of with his one-liners and his jokes. I will say the funniest line of the whole movie for me, it made me laugh so much, is when this dude is like looking for Killjoy, and he's like looking on the ground. He's like, he could see Killjoy's footprints. He's like, damn, this motherfucker's got some big feet. That was like, I don't know why, I just fucking, that was like the best line in the movie for me. And also, I don't know if you caught this, but this was fucking hilarious when that dude unloads on fucking Killjoy, you notice he has a 6-shooter and shoots. I went back and counted. He shot Killjoy 21 times without reloading with a 6-shooter. It's hilarious. And then Killjoy fires him back at him. The
That
math
was funny
round.
as that was funny as hell, and I love the awful effects when like he's getting shot. He's just like, and you can see
Yeah,
like the blood that gets on his chest. It looks like something you would see in Microsoft Paint, and it's terrible. But that's what kind of adds the charm to this movie. I
right.
mean, apparently, unless like I could be wrong, but from what I remember, kind of doing little tiny research on the film, was that the budget was only like $150,000, which I don't really know what all that money really went towards to. I don't know if it really went towards Killjoy's makeup or renting locations, because it definitely did not go towards the effects in this movie.
It did not. It did not. And speaking of the question that you asked earlier, so Trent Haga is Killjoy. I know he's Killjoy in the next two movies, but so they switch it up, and in the second one, he kind of tries to imitate that Angel Vargas's his Killjoy, but then in the third one, he kind of decides to do his own kind of version of Killjoy, which I kind of think is better. He tones down the laughing at himself, kind of the laughing at every fucking joke he makes. So yeah, Trent Haga, and I, it's a lovable movie to me. Like you said, it adds to the charm because that was basically the height of basically the what people would equate to like AI now. It was basically the start of us being able to use visual effects on our phones and on our
Mhm.
videos. So that's why the bullets look so fucking cheesy, and he just moves around like he's getting fucking shot up. Um,
Exactly, dude. Another really funny sequence that I thought was, well, yeah, not even just funny. Like just the way they did it was kind of weird. It was specifically where this old black homeless guy comes into this girl's room, and then her sister or like her friend or something, whatever, and their boyfriend go over, and that's when like he takes their hands and kind of like allows them to see into his world, where he
mhm,
explains the backstory of Killjoy, which I
yeah.
felt which at the same time it's kind of hard to judge because they probably did it on purpose. But at the beginning of the film we see the guy Michael who's like being bullied, and we see him trying to like do some black magic or something, like literally black magic is what they call it, which is funny,
Yeah.
to bring Killjoy to life. And they show a flashback showing all those scenes again, and two things: one, we as the audience already know. So it's not like a mystery or something that they're trying to build. And number
Right.
two, how does the homeless guy know this? Because when you look at the flashback, all he sees is Michael getting bullied and runs away, but yet he is able to have visions of Michael in his apartment. And it's like, how does this guy know this shit?
Yeah, it never explains, but back in the 90s, this really does feel like an old 90s like style horror movie, because they would just do shit like that where somebody would give for the audience the backstory, and then you'd be like, well, how the fuck do they know that? But that's just a common,
Yeah,
you know
it's kind of like in Child's Play, where like they kind of thought like, hey, we need to explain how freaking Charles Lee, what's it called, Charles Lee,
Ch- Charles Lee Ray.
Charles Lee Ray. Why couldn't I figure out his fucking name? I'm a huge Chucky fan, and I feel ashamed right now. But
It's
they
all
had to
right.
explain that he at one point had a voodoo teacher to teach him all this stuff, so that way he can
Yeah.
explain him becoming human. Which is, as a Chucky fan, that's always one of those things I've never enjoyed, because I feel like, and not to get off topic or anything, but I feel like Child's Play would have benefited better if the movie like started off with just Andy's birthday rather than a full 10-minute sequence basically explaining the doll's alive. And that's because that's exactly what they do in Killjoy. They have this whole thing where, like I said, the homeless guy explains the history, but we as the audience know that. So it doesn't really come as a surprise. But I know a lot of people might say like there's not really much complaining about this movie because this movie was purposely made bad on purpose. But I don't know. Like I said, I don't know. I haven't seen any interviews with the filmmakers. I've never seen behind the scenes. So who knows? Maybe they actually did sought out to make a very serious film. But if that's the case, then good job, because you made me laugh.
Well, like I said, they made 6 other movies, and I guess you could say 7 because there is like that made for TV. What was it, a sci-fi movie or something that they made? But it must have been something resonated with it. And I'll tell you this, like the second movie, it's just as low budget as the first, but the third movie and on, like somebody's putting some money into it. They've got better
Yeah,
film.
I'm
Yeah,
assuming if the budgets ever got like to $1 million budget, or if it was always just kind of low.
I'm not really sure, but I mean the third Killjoy movie right now I'm watching, it's pretty nice. It's even got my girl Victoria DeMar in it. I don't know if you can see her. Where is she? She's over. Oh, she's over here. Check her out. She's behind me on the wall right there. See? Right
I
behind
do,
me.
I
That's
do.
Victoria DeMar. I don't know if you know. She's basically like a scream queen, and she's been in this in Killjoy 3, but she's also in one of my favorite movies ever, um, Werewolf in a Woman's Prison. And I might get you to watch that one on an episode of He Made Me Watch It. That one might be coming
For-
because I've got to know your opinion on that one if you
Well,
haven't
then
seen it.
it'll be hard to come up with a werewolf movie for you because you've pretty much seen all of them.
That is true. So yeah, maybe we'll pass on that one, but it could be saved for low. We could do a category of low budget done well. So when when you see it, when you see a horror movie that's low budget, but they make the most of their money with great effects. Um, they still have decent camera work. They don't waste time. So we could do something like that. But so anyway, this one had plenty of sequels to it if anyone wants to check them out. So that being said, I want to move on to the opposite spectrum, which is the movie that you made me watch, which
Hmm.
has no sequels, and we'll get into that later on. But uh, Michael had me watch Stitches. And yes, if everyone's laughing right now, yes, I'd never seen it before. I'd seen it when it's one of those you see on the like I remember seeing it on the DVD rack, or I would see it, on TV, but I just thought it looked cheesy and low budget to me. And I like clown movies, but sometimes the lower budget clown movies just don't do it for me. So I was just like, I'll pass on it. And anyway, so he had me watch the 2012 movie Stitches, and the basic premise of Stitches is this it's an Irish slash English movie, which I'm glad everyone got along there.
Yeah,
So they yeah, they made this movie, and it's about this guy who works for this clown company, and you see at the beginning he's establishing he's kind of a kind of a dirtbag, he's like driving with his feet and shit while smoking weed and talking on the phone and whatever. He's fucking driving to this party. He goes to this kid's party, and basically I think these kids are maybe like 10, 11 years old, so they're young, and he's doing all kinds of tricks, and through some kind of ridiculous coincidence, he falls and kills himself on accident because the kids tie his shoes together and fuck with them, and so he dies. If you want to find out exactly how, watch the movie. Trust me, it's worth it.
yeah.
And so he's dead. And then the basic premise of the rest of the movie is 6 years later, when everyone at this party, all the kids were teenagers, um, they throw a party, and this company that Stitches work for actually, I don't know what you took from it, but maybe there's some kind of satanic cult or something that bring
That's kind of what I got, honestly.
yeah. So they bring basically Stitches back to life. Stitches goes to the party. This kid's having another birthday party 6 years later. And of course, everyone's coming from school. So it's a little like, can't hardly wait with a killer clown in it. But anyway, so the rest of the movie, he goes about his business in trying to take revenge and kill all of these kids. I will tell you right now. First, I want to say to you, buddy, thank you. I can't believe I'd never seen this fucking movie before. I love this movie. It's definitely going on my shelf, no doubt. I already ordered a copy. Um, just everything about this movie. This movie was like, it was funny, way funnier than Killjoy. Um, and some of the notes I got, the beginning was awesome. Um, when he's tagging that girl in that trailer right on the edge of a cliff. Um,
Yeah, weird place to have
and
a trailer.
Right, right. A clown. Basically, also another major part of this is the whole reason that this clown came back to life is because they say a clown who doesn't finish a party can never rest in peace. So that's basically why Killjoy comes back anyway. I love
Stitches.
or Stitches. Sorry, I'm getting my clowns confused. Yeah, and I just there's a lot of things I loved about this movie. The kills are awesome. We can go through kills because I want to know what your favorite parts of this movie and your favorite kills more. Where obviously you love this movie because
I
you told me about it. So when was what's your experience with this movie? When was the first time you saw it?
I remember it was during the early Netflix streaming days. I remember just seeing it on Netflix all the time, and one day I just watched it, and by random coincidence, right when I put it on, the very first scene where Stitches is getting some pussy, and my mom literally walked in. I'm like, why do parents always have to walk in during these scenes? She'd be like, what the hell are you watching? I'm like, it's always got to be like a sex scene that your parents walk into and they think you're doing something else. I'm like, no, no, it's part of the movie. It's like one of the worst moments. So I never got to finish it that time. And then many years later, I just kind of came across it again on Tubi and I decided to watch it again. I'm like, I'm glad I actually finished this. This is a fun film. So it's been a minute since I've seen it. I rewatched it again to get it fresh in my head, for this episode that we're doing. And I still think this is a really damn fun movie. And it's honestly kind of heartbreaking that there were no sequels because the movie definitely did set up for potential sequels, but we just never got them.
That was a well, I wanted to get into that later because but we can get into it now that you mentioned it. Yes, the fact that this movie has no sequels is amazing to me. I even started looking up uh, who owns the rights to this film, and I found out a couple things. It's like um, there's a media group that owns it through in a production company owns the North American rights. But I was thinking, man, this is right up our alley, dude. We should fucking
I
I
know,
don't know
dude.
how we should write a Stitches movie because okay, folks, it's low budget, but it's low budget done well. And the kills, the effects in this movie are practical, most of them, and they're amazing. Like there's some of
Oh,
the
they're
best kills I've ever seen on film in this movie.
I can't even recall. I mean, unless I might have missed something, I can't even recall like any CG moments or anything.
Yeah, and maybe you're right because I was thinking, let's go over a couple of the kills. Then we'll get back to the sequels in a minute.
Absolutely.
But a couple of the kills, my favorite ones, uh, boy, the tearing off of the penis, tearing off that guy's penis, and
Yeah, that was
nuts.
even though it was just a dream sequence, it was still like really fun to see.
But yeah, it was that was great. I'm sorry, and if for cat lovers out there, but there's a cat death scene in here that I
Mm.
won't tell you about, but I laughed.
Let's see how many lives you have left.
And yeah, he's taking this cat and doing some fucking heinous shit with it. But that one I loved, and then I loved Balloon Head. That
That was Yeah, well, because and before he blows up his head, he obviously does the animal thing with his intestines.
yes. So he rips out. He takes this one guy. This one guy probably got it the worst. He takes out his
Oh
intestine,
yeah.
makes a balloon animal out of it. It's because it's referencing back in the beginning that he was, they were making fun of him for making balloon animals and shit. So, and then he takes a pump that you would usually for like a ball or a bike pump, he sticks it in the back of the dude's head and starts pumping his head up, and his head's just. It looks like one of them Garbage Pail Kids from the 1980s movie, just fucking head blowing up, and
Yeah,
it's awesome.
I like how a lot of the deaths, because Stitches is specifically only going after the kids that were at the birthday party that happened 6 years prior as a revenge
Yeah.
thing. I like how each death from the kids almost kind of has some relation to what the kids did to him. Where like there's that one specific scene where he brings out a Funny Bones like dummy or something, and a kid like throws something at him and says like "screw you, Funny Bones," and like later on when he would go to see that kid, he would literally start to like cut into like his bones and stuff. Which so I like how it kind of went back into the things that the kids did to him, and then he would kind of
Right.
use that against them. So I really like that they actually there was a lot more thought into it rather than just let's just make these deaths over the top, which they are, but there's definitely a lot more care given into this movie. They could have easily just made this a really stupid, dumb, over the top horror film, which again it is,
It is.
but they actually there's a lot of care given into this movie.
It's done really well, man. Like I said, the fact that let's get into what's the guy's name? The main character, the comedian.
Oh, Ross Noble, who plays as Stitches, he's awesome.
He's awesome. He's hilarious. Um, I don't know how these movies have never gotten a sequel. Like I said, if you and I, so I'm saying this because Michael Entity is a filmmaker, and it's going to lead me to my next question for you. But I'm telling you, this is something that you could do. I'm amazed at how they took, I don't know what their budget was for this, but how they took all that money and put it into the kills.
Yeah, I don't know what
Again,
their budget
dude,
was.
remember the I think the worst one it was the dude in the pantry where he fucking opens up his head with a fucking can
Oh,
opener and then takes scoops his brains out with a fucking an ice cream scooper. It's like, dude, this
I,
movie has some gnarly kills.
I'm looking at the budget right now. It says that approximately the budget for Stitches was $2 million.
Wow. I mean, good for them. Like you can tell it ain't, the kills aren't cheesy in this, and they show shit. Like they show him ripping off a dude's penis.
Yeah, it's
Um,
it's not like something that's off screen and you just see like the clown and like somebody
no.
just throwing buckets of blood on him.
Yeah.
No, I think my favorite kill is specifically where he goes to meet that stupid bitch that is just really mean to the main character, her and her boyfriend. And she like at one point tries to stick a high heel in his neck, but he pulls it out. He
Oh,
takes the umbrella and then it goes like right through her eye and like she
yes.
falls down and then the eye falls into her mouth, the umbrella opens and then the blood just
Yep.
splatters.
Yep.
There's a lot of creativity that goes into the kills. I mean, again, this
Yeah.
could have easily just been something where it's just I'm going to stick an umbrella through the eye and that's that. But the fact that they went through the extra mile to do all these extra stuff, like all right, now let's have the eyeball fall down, let's have the umbrella
Right.
open and the blood squirts. I mean, there was a lot of creativity put into this movie. And one scene that I did find kind of funny, and I don't know what it's like in England, so I don't know like what parties are like. I'll just say this: from the parties that I've been to, which I haven't really been to a lot, I don't think I've ever would believe that there would be a party in 2012 where all the kids are getting drunk and singing "I Just Died in Your Arms Tonight."
I loved it though. I don't give a
It
shit.
was
That
great. It
fucking
was
song
great.
is classic. Yeah. You're right. Well, you know what? Maybe I don't know. Maybe they were behind the times with music. Who the fuck knows?
Who
But it was
knows?
a perfect song to play. You know, I just died
Exactly.
in your arms tonight
No,
as he's scooping out this guy's brains. It's a fucking fantastic film, dude. It's
it is.
definitely up there with my maybe top 5, 10 goriest movies ever. It might be top 5, dude. That's another list we've got to do because there are some we saw some bangers this last year. I don't know if you saw like the new VHS movie was fucking outrageously gory. There was some
I
other shit
I
that
did have a friend of mine who was actually in Dark Cherry who was in VHS.
no shit.
Yeah,
Oh, what?
Sean Barubi, who played Bone in Dark Cherry.
No, but I'm trying to think what part did he play in that movie?
I can't remember
VHS.
what part he plays. I just remember he was in it. It was VHS Halloween. I'm pretty sure that was the one he was in.
You see his face, or is he a costumed guy? Because there's a lot of beings
I,
in there that don't show their faces.
I think his face is in there. I'd have to double check. I mean, he's
Check
a
it out.
he's a typical bald looking dude. So I think it'll probably be easy to find.
Yeah, he looks mean as hell too. Yeah, I remember him. So before I ask this next question, I'll just let everybody know who, in case you don't know, Michael Entity is a film director, and actually he's got a film coming out June 27th of this year called Barrett. If anyone's interested, we'll talk about that a little bit later, just at the end of the show. But
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, as a film director, one of my favorite parts in Stitches was this scene where like the kid, he gets up in the morning, like he's trying to pop a pimple, and then there's a transfer to them putting eggs into a pan. Have you ever wanted to do, or will you ever do, or have you ever done a transfer like that in any of your films, or would you like to do a transfer like that? Because I love shit like that.
I do too. Honestly, when the egg went on the fry, I actually kind of went ooh for like a second until it took me to realize that they were just cooking eggs. That's when you
Yes.
tell it's a good transfer. I don't know. I mean, there is an opportunity to do something like that depending on the context of the scene. Definitely not for Barrett. I mean, you saw Barrett. Ron, reviewed it on his channel, so he saw it. I don't know about Barrett. Dark
No, I
Cherry. I
mean, in
can't really think of in the
future
future.
films. I mean,
Right, for future films, well, I am working on a horror film later this year, so I think that might be a perfect
ooh,
opportunity to do
that
that.
working a good transfer, some kind of something popping or something cooking. Yeah, I love that shit when people do that. Um,
Yeah, absolutely.
so yeah, man, this one, if we could, man, I wish you could get funding. I'll tell everyone out there, Michael is a good film director, and boy, if you gave him $2 million, boy, you can make some. You make a good movie on your own, but man, a sequel to Stitches would be fucking great, man. And again, thanks, man. I'm going to ask you right now. Give me for Killjoy. We'll go back to Killjoy. Give me 3 words to describe Killjoy. Only 3.
Campy, awful, fun.
Okay. For me, for Stitches, I'm gonna go hilarious, gory, and fun. Like
Yeah, I can
fun.
yeah, yeah, because obviously Killjoy is a so bad it's good movie.
Yes.
I can't really say that about Stitches though. I think
Nope.
Stitches is actually just a good movie in general. I mean, sure they
It
don't
is.
really do much explaining on the clown company that he works for, almost like some cult thing. So I'm thinking like, okay, like what does the clown cult do? Like what is their purpose? Because he acts like a regular clown, like he's going to like parties and stuff. He does. I love that scene specifically where he drives up and the mom is considerate. She's like, you know what, you're late, and he's like, yeah, and you're fucking ugly. It's like
I loved it.
Jesus. It's
Yep. It started off right away.
yeah, it just starts off right away. So, but they don't really go into any history of like what the whole point of this clown cult is. I mean, there's a point where the young kid Tom or Tommy or whatever they call him in the movie when he's young, he goes to the cemetery and he sees like some sort of like séance or something going on. So I'm thinking, okay, so what is their purpose? I mean, they act like real clowns, like they're going to parties and stuff like what clowns do. I mean, probably not nowadays. You don't really see clowns anymore because where did this sudden fear of clowns come also recently? Like within the past couple of years, people always say like they're terrified of clowns. When has this sudden fear of clowns? I mean, when you were a kid, Ron, obviously like Pennywise. I mean, the It miniseries. I'm assuming was that a big deal when that came out on TV?
Okay. So clowns, me, when I grew up, clowns hated clowns. They just, yeah, you never saw a clown at a birthday party. I think that was a thing maybe of the, maybe
But was that like a
before
fear
my
that
time.
people always talked about? Because I remember I went to maybe you can figure out the name for me. I cannot remember the name of the brothers that started the whole circus thing, but there was like a show. Do you know what I'm talking
Barnum and
about?
Bailey. Barnum and Bailey. Yeah.
Yes, yes, they had a Barnum and Bailey event in Phoenix, Arizona back in like 2007. It was such a fun event, and before the huge event happened where they would do all the circus stunts and everything,
Uh,
they had this little side thing that you can go onto the ground where you can see clowns doing stuff, and everybody was laughing. They were having a good time. So as I got older and I started to find out that people have this fear of clowns, I'm like, when did this all happen? Was it because of Pennywise? I mean, when like what I was gonna ask you, like I just asked you, when the It miniseries came out. I mean, you were probably a kid, when that came out. Was that a? Do you
yeah, I
remember
was a
that?
kid.
Do you remember being like, was that like a very big thing when that came out? Do you remember that? And like that's
So
what kind of got people afraid of clowns.
for me, yeah, because that's the first time I ever remember a clown, because I'm still a kid. And that's the first time I ever remember a clown vividly, only because Tim Curry took Pennywise over the top and like in a good way. But when you're young and you're just like, I think that started maybe the fear of clowns, because before then, clowns were a fucking thing, you know. They were going to birthday parties and
I
shit
mean,
like that.
there was Killer Clowns, which, speaking of which, Killer Clowns from Outer
Yeah,
Space. That's the only Killer Clown shirt I had, so I thought it fit for this
nice.
video. But even with Killer Clowns from Outer Space, I couldn't really see that movie being the one that made people afraid of clowns because it was a dumb, cheesy movie. But my dad would tell me that it was probably Pennywise because my dad said when he was a kid he remembered watching Bozo the Clown.
Yeah, there were like a couple of clowns that were fucking huge back in the day, but yeah, it was definitely Pennywise, I think, because you just vividly, even now, you still remember what Tim Curry looks like as Pennywise. I think the only people that really don't fear clowns and shit like that are like maybe people that enjoy the rodeo and shit, I would think, because they do a lot, they still have clowns involved in their acts and they're not scary at all. They're just fucking
Like,
goofy. So
I mean, I can only imagine what it was like when people discovered ICP was a thing.
whoop whoop. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, well, I mean, I guess we could talk about that for a minute, a little bonus for y'all, because uh, fucking, what movie did you have me watch?
Off ramp.
Off Ramp, and what was that? Do you remember what year that was from?
It was 2024.
2024. So he had me watch another movie that I loved it, man. It was good, and it actually, yeah, kind of inspired me to look up and read up about ICP a little bit. Because I remember they were always on the Stern Show, the Howard Stern Show, when I was,
Yeah,
growing up.
or Bill O'Reilly.
Or oh, I didn't know if did they went on his show. I never watched Bill
They, yeah,
O'Reilly.
yeah, they were on Bill O'Reilly. It was They were specifically talking about the beef with them and Eminem.
Oh, okay. I don't even remember what Eminem was always beefing with somebody. Well, back in the day, but
Hey,
who
even
knows?
still,
Oh, yeah. So, um, man. So if we had to compare Stitches versus Killjoy, uh, which one do you prefer? Which one is on a double feature night? Which one's going first? How about that?
I would say Killjoy because I would feel like Stitches would be the one to kind of save for last, like save the best for last.
Okay, so then I phrased the question wrong. Which one do you prefer? Which one do you like better?
Oh, Stitches. I mean, I did, like I said, I really enjoyed Killjoy just of how dumb and campy it is. It's an awful movie, but like I said, it's a so bad it's good film. Stitches, though, I feel like has more rewatchability because when you watch Killjoy for the first time, it's one of those things where it's like, it's funny to see how bad the acting is and everything. But watching Killjoy again, even though Killjoy is only like an hour and 20 minutes, it actually does kind of feel like a chore to get through, if I'm being honest. But I mean,
It
then
does.
again, I'm definitely going to watch the rest of the Killjoy franchise because I really do want to see all of them. And the fact that they're still making them to this day, which is I find really cool. But seriously, I'm just saying this right now. Even though we talked about this, I cannot believe Stitches did not get a sequel. I mean, and Ross Noble's still alive, and he still does like stand-up comedy, and he still does touring and everything. I would love to go to one of his tours. I don't know if he tours in America or if he's only known in the UK. I would love to
Yeah,
go to one of his shows and say, "Hey, do Stitches Part 2." I mean, I don't really know what could they do for a sequel to Stitches. I mean, because he basically killed everybody. I mean, there were three kids that were still alive, which was the girl, Tommy, and then his one friend. I can't remember his friend's name in the movie, but I don't know. Do you feel like there could be a sequel, like where he goes after them again? Because at the end of the day, Stitches was only brought back to get revenge on the kids.
well, there's a couple ways you can go. You can either go the route of the Black Thorn and fucking go with the cult, go more in depth to the clown cult business,
Oh,
whatever the fuck that is.
right.
Or so the two people lived at the end of the movie. I mean, we've had sequels with less, so you could pull something together with those two. I don't know, maybe they get married and have kids and their kid goes to a party, and who the fuck knows, there's
There's
we could
definitely
come up with some shit.
Yeah, there's definitely opportunities, man. Now here's a good question, man. Who would win in a fight, Killjoy or Stitches?
Oh, that
And
boy,
think
that is a
think
good
and
one.
think about it because both of them do have similarities. Like they both are kind of empowered by black magic in a way. I would say like it's black magic for like Killjoy, whereas is more like ritual magic, but I mean, wouldn't ritual and black magic kind of be similar in a way?
This is how I would compare the two. Like Killjoy is more of the Freddy Krueger type, and Stitches is maybe more of the
Like a Jason
Michael
Voorhees?
Myers or Jason Voorhees type. Like he's the because he gets his hands dirty in there. Killjoy don't have to get his hands dirty. He can make up some kind of magical whatever or do something. Like you'll see his power is increased as the series goes on. So, like I said, once the third movie really sets it off, and I just realized, and it's not even on Google yet. There's a 2024 Killjoy movie that just came out that's on Tubi. I'll send you the name of it, but I was
Okay,
like, what? There's another one, and it's not even on Google. I don't know why.
that is weird.
Yeah, because it has to be the same guy because I've seen the picture. It looks just like Killjoy. So and it's called Killjoy, and I forget what the rest of the it's called, but it's like I said, it's not on Google.
Well,
Um,
and what I'm thinking too, because when you think of their powers, I mean, Killjoy definitely has a lot more magic for what he does. So it's not like Killjoy is like deliberately stabbing people with knives or anything, whereas Stitches is like blowing up people's heads and ripping off their skulls. But they both are indestructible. So it does make you wonder who could win in the fight.
I don't know. Let's get like a Freddy versus Jason, and we'll do Killjoy versus Stitches. So the 2024 movie is called Killjoy Terrify. Mhm. Mhm.
I wonder where they
Terrify,
got.
right?
I wonder where they got that.
Yes, and you know that's a like Art the Clown is huge right now, so he's taking clowns over the top. They were kind of dead for a while, I think. Besides Pennywise, but dude, I don't dig the second It movie, the recent one. Don't do it
Oh,
for me.
yeah, that I really love it from 2017. I thought that was great. It Chapter 2 has some great moments, but it's way too fucking long.
Yes, yeah, and they had great actors in it. I just think, and I think the CGI, like I know it's closer to the story, I assume, because I've never read it. I can't. I'm not a big Stephen King reader. I cannot. I lose focus. I can't get through that shit sometimes. The way he describes things is like, okay, cool, man. Um, but I fucking lost my train of thought. Anyway,
Well, well,
um,
you were talking about like how it was in the book. I've heard
oh,
that's always seems to be the argument from people where I'll be like, "Oh, I didn't like that," and then a buddy of mine will be like, "Well, it was in the book." I'm like, "Okay, so what? Just because it's in the not everything has to from the book has to be in a movie." Like they always say that about like Marvel movies too. Like I remember. Weird to bring this up since we're talking about clowns, but I'll just bring it up. She-Hulk. I remember watching the She-Hulk series, and I didn't hate it like a lot of the internet has, but I didn't really think it was great. And a lot of people were like saying, I don't know what you're expecting, bro. That's what she did in the comics. I'm like, bro, just because it's a comic book doesn't mean it's gold. Not every Marvel comic book is gold. There's like when people said like, oh, they preferred Spider-Man with the organic web, where they prefer Spider-Man with the web shooters
right,
rather than Tobey Maguire having organic web shooters that come out of his
right,
hand. I prefer like that in Tobey Maguire because it makes sense because if Spider-Man, Peter Parker's supposed to be this dirt poor kid who can barely afford anything, but yet he can afford to make web shooters. But it makes sense for Tobey Maguire because if he has all the abilities as a spider, why can't he naturally shoot webs? So not everything in a book is gold. So that's where I kind of always got that. Why I've always hated that argument. People say it's in the book, so that's why it's there.
Well, let me ask you this, piggybacking on that. Um, Punisher just came out, the new series. Did you watch it, the one off?
No, not yet.
Oh,
It
okay.
was like a special event kind of thing is what they
It's a
called it.
special presentation, but my point is that like he doesn't for um most of the film, he doesn't wear his Punisher shit. And again, people are like they're hating on it. Oh, why can't he wear his Punisher shit? It's in the comic, dude. First of
It's
all,
kind
let's
of,
be a little more realistic. He's not gonna fucking walk around like the way they gave the story explains why he's not wearing his shit. But like people just want to see somebody in a costume. And for me, it's not about it shouldn't be about the costume. It should be about the character, dude. Like, and who
yeah.
cares if we're changing it? But don't get me wrong. Like some costume changes are egregious. Like X-Men, fucking 99 or 98, whenever that shit came out
Yeah,
with
where they
those
were wearing
black
black
leather.
leather.
yeah, that's silly, but that's because they had some weird hang up in the 90s about
Everything.
superheroes
It always
in
had to be.
costumes.
They always had to be either wearing black leather or a black like trench coat,
You know
like
why?
because it
Because
was
of
cool.
Batman. Well,
It,
yeah, because of Batman. But
yeah.
Batman came out all black. They're like, that's the way to do it. So,
Well, I can't lie. Black trench coats did look badass. It didn't matter how cliche they were. They always looked badass for some reason until
well,
Columbine
until
ruined it.
yes, I was just gonna say, and then motherfuckers
the
wearing them like everyone
the trench
hated people wearing
Yeah, the
those
trench coat. Yeah, the trench coat mafia that ruined it.
the dusters and shit. Like, no, don't get me wrong. Like, I prefer because some people prefer Punisher and his just his skull black top and then pants, but I like him with that, but with his trench coat on. I think that's when Frank
I find
Castle looks most badass.
I find that funny because it kind of reminds me of like the Dolph Lundgren Punisher movie where he
Mhm.
didn't have a skull at all. And I don't know if it was because of copyright reasons, but if that was the case, then why how are they able to call the movie The Punisher? That's a different thing.
They didn't because again, superheroes and superhero shit was kind of taboo back then, and they didn't think people would go watch it. So, and also, I think I just read something, or maybe I think I was listening to Kevin Smith's podcast or something. They were talking about this, but it looks like the maker of that film, the Dolph Lundgren one, wishes that he could go back and have him wearing his skull and shit because he realizes now how cool it is, and it's
Yeah, and it's funny because people are complaining. I mean, other than the Punisher series, and even though the Punisher movie from 2004 doesn't have the great reviews, even though I fucking love that movie, even then, Frank
me too.
Castle, Thomas Jane, I think Thomas Jane is like the quintessential Punisher. Even he hardly wears the skull shirt in that. So why are people complaining about the most recent one, but yet in the Punisher movie that most people really do like, he hardly wears it. So it's like, what's the difference?
Is your Punisher Thomas Jane?
Oh, absolutely, dude.
See, I like I'm a Barenthal guy. I don't know, dude.
Oh no, dude!
It-
I think John Bernthal. I loved the Punisher series. I think he's great, but Thomas Jane is the one that means the most to me. Like a perfect example would be this. Like I fucking love Robert Pattinson's Batman. I think he's my favorite Batman right now. But Michael Keaton and Christian Bale will always be the ones that are closest to my heart, if that makes sense.
yes, but I could see that. I'm not a Pattinson fan right now. Like, we'll see what they do in the next movie, and I don't know what they're doing. They're taking their sweet time with that shit too. But
They
okay,
really are.
yeah, I don't know why, whatever. But yeah, I'm not a Pattinson guy. For me, I love Bale as Batman. Because no, I take that back. I don't like Christian Bale as Batman. I like those movies. My Batman, if I had to pick a Batman, I'm a Ben Affleck guy. Like
Oh, I love
his
Batfleck.
portrayal of Batman, because I love the Dark Knight Returns, that older, beefier, fucking I don't give a shit Batman, and I
Yeah,
like
like
that.
yeah,
Yeah,
like I like that dark, and that was a lot of criticism that Batman v Superman had, was like Batman was too mean. Where it's like, well, if you actually read later on, as Bruce Wayne would get older, he stopped giving a shit. He didn't give a fuck about his rules anymore.
no, no, not at all. But so anyway, there we go for our first venture at this. Again, you came out with a banger, so you have forced me to up my game. I do have a movie that I have picked for you for the uh, next time we podcast. So I would like you to watch the 2025 movie If I Had Legs, I Would Kick You, and it stars Rose Byrne. Uh, me and Michael were talking earlier about Donnie Darko, and this movie is from A24, and it kind of reminds me of Donnie Darko. Now, it's not exactly a pure horror, but it is a psychological thriller, and it does have elements of horror in it. So you can kind of pass for a horror movie. So
Okay.
I want you to check that one out for our next time. Oh, do you got anything for me?
I do. I think this came out in 2016. I'll have to double check, but it is a psychological thriller called Super Dark Times. And this is a movie that there's not really a whole lot of like known actors in the film. I would say the most known is there's one kid who was specifically in the movie X, and then there's another guy who's mostly known for being in this TV show called Ozark. It is a psychological thriller, and I don't want to explain the plot or anything, but basically, like it says in the trailer, it's like a cross between Donnie Darko, Mean Creek, and Stand By Me.
Okay. Yeah, we'll talk about those bad boys next time. Michael, do you have anything that you'd like to promote, brother? Because we'll be continue to do some shows, because you know, it's pretty enjoyable talking horror
Well,
movies with you, which is predominantly what we'll talk about. But the name of the channel is Sons of Cinema, so there will be times where we're talking about other
there's a couple.
genres.
There's a couple examples, which, by the way, today's a really good day for horror because, in about a couple hours, I'm going to be heading to the theaters with some buddies of mine to go see Obsession.
Yeah.
Really looking forward to that. But as far as things I would like to promote, number one is this new segment that we're going to be doing. So definitely keep on the lookout for more episodes because some of the movies we might talk about, guys, might be random. I mean, today was just a coincidence. We talked about 2 killer clown movies, but there might be something even different. Like maybe one episode I'll talk about Ravenous or he'll talk about Off Ramp, like movies that just don't go together. But I think talking about 2 killer clown movies was a pretty good little way to do it. It was a decent double feature.
Yeah. Yes, this is what it kind of inspired us. Go ahead.
Yeah, and then my second thing I'll promote is if anybody's in the Arizona area or anybody doesn't mind traveling or whatnot, come out to the worldwide premiere for my second film, Barrett. Ron will actually be there hosting the premiere as well. So definitely get your tickets now. If you haven't, you can get it on eventbrite.com. You just look up Barrett, and the tickets currently are on sale right now for 50% off if you use the promo code SOPHOMORE, all capitalized. But there is no actual date on when it's going to stop. So it could stop right now. It could stop later on. So you might want to get your tickets now. That's the best time to get it. But yeah, those are the 2 things I will advertise on here.
Cool. If you guys want to check out a preview to Barrett, I've got at least 3 trailers. No, I got 2 trailers and a review because he was nice enough to let me see the film ahead of time. It is a great film. I'll just give you that. But look at my review. And yeah, if you're in the area, come out because it's a really good film. Trust me, I especially wouldn't be telling you to come out and watch some trash. That's just not my style. That's not his style. We will always tell you exactly how we feel about something. And but that being said, we also understand that, especially you being a filmmaker, that there is hard work done in film sometimes, and it doesn't always work out, and that we do try to take into account when we're looking at these films. And you know, we're going to look at them for the positive and what they're meant to be. Now if they're terrible, we're going to be honest about it, but
100%.
Exactly. And anyway, yeah, so this is our first episode of He Made Me Watch, and we'll be back I don't know, soon. We'll figure out a schedule, but because Mike's always busy with his film making. And again, you got a new film coming up that you're going to go in production with soon, right?
Yes.
What's that about?
So my new film I'll be working on is a horror film called Windhaven. It is a horror murder mystery film about two detectives, specifically Johnny Silva and Melissa Rakuski from Dark Cherry. So kind of a Dark Cherry reunion kind of thing. They play as 2 detectives that are looking for a serial killer, and they start to notice a pattern of all the victims that are being killed and how all of them seem to have some relation to an old mental facility known as Windhaven that burned down 5 years prior. And that's really all I'll say.
All right, man. Yeah, we'll keep everybody up to date on that as it goes into production. Michael Entity, thank you, brother. I appreciate it. It was fun. I can't wait to do some more because you and I, usually our conversations end up going hours. So we're kind of keeping it short right now. Yeah. Because
I'm actually surprised we're only under an hour.
I know. I'm trying to keep it under an hour, so maybe people will actually want to watch most of it. You know what I mean? But there will be times I'm sure we'll go way long. But but to start, this was perfect. The clown movies we talked about just kind of inspired us. So anyway, for Sons of Cinema and for He Made Me Watch, I'm Ron. That's Michael Entity. Thanks, brother, for joining. I appreciate it. And
Absolutely.
I will see you soon. And I will talk to you after you go see that movie. And I want to see what you thought of it. Are you going to be doing review on your channel? Please promote your channel if you need to.
I will, yes. So my YouTube channel is Chaotic World. There are a couple channels with that name that might be hard to find. So if it makes it easier, the picture is a picture of me specifically standing behind a door that has red rum, and red rum is also on my neck. So pretty easy to memorize. So that'll be my YouTube channel. I haven't posted a review in a month. I've just been pretty busy with work and getting Barrett completed. But Obsession is there's all bets are off. That is a movie I'm absolutely going to talk about.
The previews look really good, and I've actually seen some of the reviews. They're looking pretty good right now.
Yeah,
So,
and honestly, man, if you're down, when you end up seeing the movie, I would love to do a spoiler review with you whenever you get to see it.
let's do it. I'll go see it this weekend then, brother. I'll go check it out. Our theater up here, I love it, man. I go to the first showing like on a Sunday or a Saturday morning, and there's nobody there. You get a good experience. I fucking love it. So I'll go check it out this weekend, and we'll definitely then maybe we'll get together this week if you got time, or maybe next week.
Absolutely.
And we'll do that. By the way, in the off chance that anyone's actually watching this episode, please feel free to leave comments and suggestions for us, because we always are on the lookout for movies that we've never seen before. So please, you got any suggestions that you want us to do you want Michael to watch one, you want me to watch the other, and then we'll compare and contrast. So please leave us comments. Anyway, again, for Sons of Cinema, I'm Ron. That's Michael Entity, and we'll see y'all next time. Peace.
Peace. See you in the neighborhood.
Give me a beat. Now throw up your hands in the air and wave them like you just don't care. Say ho, ho, ho. Somebody scream. Ho, ho. I can't work like this. I mean, I need some help here. What kind of a group is this? It's not a musical group, I can tell you that. Ho! Now that's better. Too bad you can't hear the music I can hear.